usually happens. Just like players always say sacks come in chunks, turnovers do too.
And that was definitely the key to victory in this one. Let's hear from head coach Kellen Moore.
Awesome effort. The turnovers obviously was a huge part of this game. 5-0, and a lot of positives coming out of this thing.
How did you first feel when you were celebrating the locker room with the team?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, this is a special group. They're
Webster on store.
30 chairs, non-squeak.
Webster on store.
15 non-wobble.
Webster on store.
Their resiliency to hang in there through some challenging times the first month. By no means is it the perfect script to start a journey together as a group, but I thought our guys just battled the entire game, and it was really fun to see those guys. Yeah. Obviously, you got to get in the win column first, and then obviously you can carry momentum, hopefully moving forward, and we can feel it. We know what it looks like. We know what it feels like, and so now we got to keep getting better. This is what an NFL season's about. You got to keep getting better, and more opportunities will come ahead of us.
How would you describe what the mood was like in the locker room? Yes, it's fairly happy.
Yeah, it's an awesome group. We have an awesome group. I love the energy. I love the joy that these guys bring each and every day. And certainly, for a lot of our guys, it's not just obviously me, it's, a lot of this group is coming together for the first time for Spence, for him battling through a lot of things through the last year and a half for him. And so I was fired up for him as well.
Now, could you talk a little bit more about the defense? You got down 14-3 before the turnovers just started.
Yeah, turnovers, resilient group, and, the play style, you never know which play is going to make a difference in a game through all four quarters. And I thought, our defense just did an incredible job of attacking the football. To create 5 turnovers in a game is really, really special.
What did you see in the one from Brian Brzee that Jordan hadn't returned? What did you see about what Brian was able to do?
Yeah, just excellent job attacking the football. And I haven't seen the perfect look yet, but I've seen one. He's attacking the football, and I think that's the special thing. We've seen it throughout the NFL the last couple days, through the NFL. Certainly Thursday night was an example again by the Niners. And so, these defense linemen, they just keep attacking the football, and eventually it's going to pop out.
If you don't mind, would you describe your personal, what you're thinking as you're watching that play, that emotional thing?
Yeah, I mean, they were grinding it out, and so they were grinding out a long drive, and so for our guys to make that play immediately, so as soon as Jordan scoops up the ball, I think he immediately looked to what's ahead of him, and there was a whole lot of green grass, and I thought our guys did an excellent job getting out in front of him, creating a couple blocks, just securing it, and so allowing him to go score. It was a game-changing play.
Did you see something that you liked about what the defense did today, because it wasn't going all that easy early in the game before they were able to kind of.
Yeah, I thought just continue to attack the football. And so I thought our defense line continued to rush, continue to find plays. Jackson's going to be a really good quarterback in this league. He's a really good player. He's going to buy time. Plays are going to last longer. It's going to be challenging for our defense line, and they just got to keep going for it.
What did you see from Kool-Aid throughout the week leading up to what was a big game for him?
Yeah, just so happy for him. He is a phenomenal player. We think the world of him. He's played some hard downs the first few weeks of the season, and for him to come up with 2 big-time interceptions and made a bunch of plays throughout this entire game, I was so fired up for Kool-Aid. He deserved everything that's coming his way this week, and so we're really excited for him. Yeah, obviously Justin going out early, challenging situation. Jonas hopped in there and obviously continued to play, and then Jordan hopped in there, and so big time job by both of those guys.
Like a lift from Taysom being active today, looking at just like a spark you guys at all?
Yeah, it was fun. It was awesome to see Taysom, to see Foster out there competing, playing. They've been through a lot. Taysom had some hard downs in the run game, and I thought, the play action pass, the opportunity to throw it in that short yard situation was obviously awesome, and thought he made an excellent decision. Really good throw because the corner's playing over the top, and so it was a big time play. We needed that in that situation. Yeah, his role obviously will evolve. He's just coming back, and so I thought, he did punt protection, and then he did some, obviously snaps in some offensive situations, and as he goes, he'll just keep growing that as we go.
You
know it was going to get that kind of.
We talked about it earlier in the week. Yeah, once we kind of felt like those two were trending and they were going to be ready to play, it was kind of a no-brainer.
At what point was that decision made to have them available for this game?
Felt really good about it going into this week. We had to obviously see the evidence on the field. Both guys hopped into Wednesday's practice, did an excellent job, really reconfirmed what everyone believed. And, again, credit to those guys, their work, credit to our training staff, all the long journey that all those guys have been on, Ben, Sean, the rest of the crew in there. We got some of the best in the business in there, and they work a lot. What these guys have gone through the whole offseason, through the summer, being there at training camp and not being able to participate and all the things they've had to wait through for them to be ready when the opportunity presents itself. I think credit to all those guys.
Were you sitting on motion Taysom for a while? The one that he threw to Juwan Johnson. Were you sitting on that play for a while, like you knew that they had played him early, that was going to work later?
Yeah, it was in our pocket based off the look, and so we had a couple plays in those short yardage situations designed for Taysom. Obviously, based off their look, we felt like there's a chance to be aggressive there. We're probably going to go for it on fourth down anyway, so we can be aggressive and see if it happens.
Was that how was your motion so that long for an offensive mind? Is that exciting? You just have a guy that you can.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun as we build this. Taysom hopped in there. He had a handful of roles in this game. Obviously, some of them weren't really utilized yet, and so there'll be more coming, more expanding, and obviously his ability to just play all these different positions will be a huge advantage for us.
Was that the emotions on the long scoop and score? Whenever you call action earlier in the game, that 87-yard touchdown of Rashid Shaheed, what were you thinking when you saw the ball in the air?
Yeah, as soon as I saw the leverage by the safety in the corner took Juwan, we knew we had an excellent opportunity. Beautiful route, beautiful throw by Spence. It was just it was a really cool play. We needed that. An explosive play. We've been trying to chase these explosives. They haven't happened. It's been frustrating for the whole group, but they're hanging in there. And when that opportunity presented itself, those guys executed at a really high level.
You mentioned how it was a really tough month. Was that play set up by all that heavy you guys were kind of last week? You think? I think only two-man route.
Yeah, our numbers obviously have been really heavy run with those bigger packages, and so certainly we had some pass game opportunities in the plan, and that one was able to be successful, and we were able to utilize it.
You mentioned how it was a tough month for your guys, and you talked about the first win, but did it make it, that much sweeter, the fact that, for a couple of those first few games, you guys were so close to getting that win and just weren't able to get over the hump, the fact that you were able to do so now, do you think it made it, a little sweeter?
I think our guys have grown a lot through this journey. We know we've played some good football. We haven't earned the wins that we certainly is the ultimate goal, but I think our guys have battled each and every week. Seattle got away from us. That was the one that was frustrating. The other ones were right in it. We're close. We got to make a couple more plays. We got to find those margins to close a little bit more, and I felt like our guys went out there and played really well this week.
Kool-Aid got matched up against Theo Johnson on a couple of important plays. One that worked out really well at the end. Was there any design to that, or those were just circumstances?
Yeah, there's some circumstance. Yeah, there's some circumstance there based off the call. Sometimes you're matched up against whoever the number one receiver is based off the presentation and look. And so Kool-Aid responded really well in a bunch of these situations.
Do you like the way, though, that early in the game, obviously, Johnson got the size matchup?
Yeah.
But then Kool-Aid handled it the same look.
Yeah. Again, he responded really well. I thought Kool-Aid made a bunch of plays as that game progressed. I thought our guys responded really well. There's times you're going to have advantageous situations. There's times you're going to have hard downs and hard situations. Our guys understand that, and our guys' ability to respond to that is critical.
What's going through your head when you see the lead flicker developing, and then what do you think of Burgess's?
Yeah, obviously, as soon as you see it, oh man, here we go. And awesome play. Burgess, the ability to recognize it, the ability not to panic in that situation, because so many times there's clips all over where guys just go and run into the guy, and okay, we stopped the play, but it's a 50-yard gain in that situation. For him just to still compete, have some patience to himself as far as some calmness, I thought it was a big time play. It was a critical play for us.
Spencer, is that being 0-10 as a starter so far? What does it mean to you to be able to help him and guide into his first victory as a starter?
I thought I did a lot of good. I'm really happy for Spence. He's battled through a lot, through certainly a year and a half of football, here. And so thought he's played a lot of good football this year with us. He's competed each and every week. We've been really close. We haven't gotten it done collectively. For him to get this one, he's earned it. And I thought he had a huge impact on this game in a positive way.
How did you guys see on the Carl Granderson sack that was called?
Yeah. I saw a sack. Yeah, it's disappointing just because obviously you're trying to educate your players, and when you don't feel like as a coach you have an answer to help educate your players on how to play the game, that's frustrating because obviously you coach to give those guys the best chance to be successful, and obviously it's going to be a great opportunity for us to learn ultimately whatever the opinion of that play is because it's a frustrating play when you do so much good, and that's a frustrating one as a coach. You feel like you're helpless in that situation.
How does that process go? Like, do they follow up with you at some point and say, this is why it's hard to follow? Do you use that to teach?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, we'll see if there is. Sometimes you can get an educational point out of it. Sometimes you don't. And so, we'll see if our league, provides something for really our whole league to figure that out.
When you guys were down 14-3, you scored 23 unanswered to end the game. What impressed you the most about your team's response from that moment on? I know a lot of turnovers mixed in there, but what?
Yeah, I thought the turnovers are huge, and I think our ability to respond and get some points out of the turnovers, I thought, obviously had some value. The way we ended the second quarter, I thought was nice. We missed our opportunity. Defense makes a play. We get another opportunity to at least get some points there and take the lead before half. I thought that was a critical moment for us to, we haven't led a game this year, and so to go in the halftime finally with a lead, feeling the confidence, and then for our guys to come out and play really good football in the second half, I thought spoke to our guys' resiliency.
Does anything stand out about the adjustments Brandon Staley made? Obviously, you guys had a lot more success against our offense in the second half. Anything you could say that he did that helped?
Yeah, I thought our guys, just the communication and just the subtle adjustments throughout a game, I think are really, really critical. And that's what makes Brandon special. His ability to make those adjustments in the moment, make a different call, make an adjustment. I thought our guys communicated at a really high level on defense. They're going to present a lot of different looks on the back end. I thought our secondary just did an excellent job communicating, being on the same page, being all tied together. Our rush was resilient. Jackson's going to get out and make some plays out in space, and so you got to be able to respond after that. He's going to make a play, and you got to respond. And so, credit to all those guys. Yeah, obviously some positives. Certainly we did some good things. It's ultimately not quite good enough. We got to keep battling there. And so we got the right guys. We got a bunch of guys who've had a lot of success in this league. And when you go through bumps, you bring it a little bit closer, you bring it a little bit tighter, you find the solutions together, and we keep moving.
You mentioned offensively the frustration of not having the explosive plays. Do you think a guy like Kool-Aid on the defensive side kind of needed that interception, needed to go his way?
Yeah, certainly with Kool-Aid, he's been close on some opportunities. He hasn't quite gotten the ball production yet in his career. And so, for him to make 2 plays, I thought, awesome job by him. Credit to him. Great plays right when we need them.
Will you beat him? You have any game balls after this one?
Yes, absolutely. So we'll, we gave Spence and Kool-Aid a couple in there. We'll obviously give plenty more guys on Monday as we evaluate the film and have an opportunity to kind of, recognize all the good that came into this game. And so, it's an awesome opportunity for our entire team to recognize the good stuff that came out of this.
You got any plans to celebrate first one?
I don't know. I'm tired. These weeks are long, so I'm ready to hang out and get a little sleep.
First of all, did you get the ball too? And second, totally unrelated, but was there another call that was confusing to you in the first half near the pylon? That you think you'll be speaking
The challenge.
on that one too? Yeah.
Yeah, the challenge. It was a tricky look. I knew it was kind of a 50-50. We just didn't get a ton of looks. We felt like there was a chance for a replay there. And so, I knew I was taking a little bit of a chance. They may not have converted there. They got on the line of scrimmage. They were able to run the play. Felt like there was a chance where the ball was bobbled at that point. And so, we didn't get it done. And, yes, AK gave me a game ball. AK is the best.
What is this, as best you can say, and I know you don't like questions about yourself, but what does this feel like for you to get this with just, a proof of concept kind of thing? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Walking off that field, what is that?
No, I think for all of our guys, for all of our coaches, this entire group that's come together, there's a lot of resiliency that's had to come through for 4 games to miss 4 opportunities and to be close and feel like you're playing some good football. And so felt like it was good. Felt like it was a big time momentum opportunity for our team, establish, some winning success, and hopefully it carries on in the future. All right. Thanks, guys. There he is.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who dat?
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints get it done today in week number 5 by a score of 26-14. The New Orleans Saints are finally in the win column for the first time this 2025 season. And, you know, credit to the New York Giants. Looked like they came to play, especially in the first half, but also credit to the New Orleans Saints defense, generating 5 turnovers in order for the New Orleans Saints to get the victory over the Giants. You know, Who Dat Nation, I enjoy watching this game. The youth movement especially. You're seeing a lot of young, promising players out there making plays, from Kool-Aid McKinstry to Ernest Sinker, Quincy Riley, Brian Brzee, Jordan Howden. You also had Terrell Burgess making plays. Like, it was great to see the young core of the New Orleans Saints flashing right in front of our eyes. But I think we have to start with quarterback Spencer Rattler. Look, this man has been scrutinized by Saints fans all over, talking about the dude can't play, talking about the guy's not a starting quarterback, talking about the Saints can go in a different direction, this, that, and the third. But on this day, regardless of how you may feel about Spencer Rattler, it is great to see this young man get the monkey off his back and finally win a football game, finally in the win column. Everybody's talking about the 0-10 record. It's finally a 1 inside of the win column for Spencer Rattler. And look, I'm happy for the guy. Like, does this completely absolve the New Orleans Saints issues? No. Did the New Orleans Saints become a good football team today? No. But it's good at least 1 week. Saints fans can know what it feels like to win a football game. And I just tell Saints fans here today to enjoy it. Enjoy it, because probably not going to have too many of these type of Sundays going forward, like in 2025, as this team tries to get better. But it's good to see that some of these young players are stepping up and taking advantage of the opportunities. Another player, once again, Kool-Aid McKinstry, thought that he played outstanding today, had 2 interceptions in a game, and finally looked like that number 1 corner, at least for this Sunday. Also, someone that I was really proud of watching, and it may not look, appealing in the stat column, but Kendre Miller. I thought Kendre Miller ran the ball well. I think that Kendre Miller ran the ball even better than Alvin Kamara in this game. It seemed like he's been running more motivated. It seemed like he's healthy. He's showing that contact balance. He's fighting for extra yards. I mean, he was out there balling on the offensive side of football and picking up those tough yards, especially in certain situations. Taysom Hill, it was great to see him back on the field, threw a pass 19 yards to Juwan Johnson. Thought that was really good ball placement. Kellen Moore even alluded to that in the press conference. But Taysom Hill isn't all the way back yet. You can tell the way that he was running the football. It's going to take some time as he gets adjusted, getting back to the contact of football. This is a guy that got injured the second to last game of the season, and he went through a lot, man. I'm pretty sure a lot of people seen the interview with Taysom and him talking about some of the things that he had to endure, some of the things that his doctor said. So it's going to be a work in progress, but it was good to see Taysom Hill out there, and also kind of shoring up the special teams as well. But speaking of special teams, I would be remiss if I didn't mention how terrible Blake Grupe looks. The guy looks awful right now. And look, I'm not one of those people in the business of just talking about things that go wrong when things go wrong. I talk about them even in victory. And that's probably one of the reasons why some Saints fans get annoyed with me, because they're like, oh, TJ, we won. But I'm just telling you, Blake Grupe is a liability. Blake Grupe left 9 points on the field today. And look, the New Orleans Saints have a kicking issue. And it's only a matter of time before Blake Grupe cost the New Orleans Saints a football game. And look, sometimes we kind of like put it in there theoretically, like, oh, if the Saints would have made that field goal in the first quarter. No, I'm talking about if the game is nip-tuck and he goes out there and let's just say the Saints are down by 2 points, right? And they kick a field goal and they would win by 1. I don't trust this dude to make a field goal. He has the yips. And you already have another kicker on your team in Charlie Smith. I think next week they need to allow Charlie Smith to kick and put Blake Grupe on the bench. And if Charlie Smith can go out there and give you something better as a place kicker, then you go with him moving forward. Blake Grupe has missed a field goal, and I think every game for the exception of the one last week. You got to get this dude up out of here, or you got to sit him on a bench or something like that until he figures it out. Because you keep on bringing this dude out there and him shanking field goals left and right, it is going to cost you games. Nobody is going to talk about it today because the Saints won. But I'm just telling you, I just see a foreshadow. And Saints fans are going to be extremely frustrated, and they are going to be crowding the chat talking about Blake Grupe missing field goals. They need to figure that thing out because I've seen this guy for 5 weeks shank field goals left, shank field goals right. And look, you're playing in a control element dome, right? It's not like the wind is at you, you're kicking into the wind or something like that. Look, you're in a 70-degree climate-controlled dome, and you still can't make field goals. And it's getting pretty alarming to me. Also, what was alarming to me? The red zone. The Saints were 0-3 in the red zone. 0-3. You got to find ways to be able to cash that in. But I like the fact that Spencer Rattler took a deep shot down the field. That ought to keep some of these people quiet, talking about how Spencer Rattler doesn't push the ball down the field at least for a week. But yeah, he was able to connect on an 87-yard touchdown to Rashid Shaheed, really showing his speed, got up to close to 23 miles per hour. I mean, that's just blazing fast right there. But also Spencer Rattler, I mean, even a close out a game, that ought to hush a lot of people up as well. He was able to convert on 4th down. 4th and 5. The New Orleans Saints needed the clock to continue to tick. So he pretty much threw the ball on a quick slant to Rashid Shaheed to keep the clock moving. So that shows you that he can convert drives late in games. So, I mean, Spencer Rattler is still a work in progress. There's still some things that he needs to work on. But at the end of the day, it's good to see this man finally get a victory. And, because when this game first started, and I seen the Saints down 14-3. I even said it on the prediction show. I stuck around for a little while as the game started for a couple of drives. And I said, man, if the Saints end up losing this game, I mean, you're going to have to figure out, if Spencer Rattler going to be the starter next week. But I think he bought himself some time. I think he'll go into the game next week, as the starter, as the Saints have another home game versus the New England Patriots. But really valiant effort by the New Orleans Saints, especially their defense. Carl Granderson should have had a sack, should have had 5.5 on the season. That roughing the passer penalty was just absolutely hot garbage. And I hope that the league actually gives this man his sack. I mean, it's just plain and simple on that. I don't know if that's possible or not. Maybe it should be, but that was not roughing a passer. And those referees, they gypped that man out of having another sack in a game. That would have been his 5th sack. He would have had 5.5 sacks on the season. So hopefully they reverse that penalty. I'm pretty sure that they can and give that man his sack because that was not roughing a passer. That was not roughing a passer. So that's my opening diatribe there. But really good win by the New Orleans Saints. Just appreciate the victories, ladies and gentlemen, because like I said, I don't think they're going to have too many of them this season, but it's good to see that the New Orleans Saints can beat teams like the Giants. Scarecrow 8055. Thank you very much for the $2. Said Blake Grupe doesn't deserve the captain's badge. Blake Grupe don't deserve to be on the team right now the way he's kicking. Michael Morgan, thank you very much for the 199. Says, was it me or did the offense look bad? The offense didn't look bad, but they didn't take advantage of opportunities. It wasn't sloppy, but the defense played like so outstanding, especially in the second half. It made people forget. Excuse me. It made people I don't want, what's the word I'm looking for? It didn't make people focus or zoom in on some of the things that the offense were lacking. Like the fact that the defense was playing so well, it kind of overshadowed some of the struggles the offense had in the game. But to me, like I said, I watched the entire game. I watched the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I just think that sometimes in victory, like people have a tendency of forgetting, like, what went wrong, because everybody's looking at the ultimate outcome, which was the victory. But when it comes down to it, the New Orleans Saints had an opportunity to cash in and win some points, get into the red zone, but they couldn't score any touchdowns. So they're going to have to figure that thing out. I don't know if they need to utilize Taysom Hill a little bit more, as he starts to get healthier, maybe throw the football into the end zone. I don't know if they just need to use some of their big bodies. As Foster Moreau come back, he was a really good red zone target. I think Juwan Johnson still was dealing with an injury. Devon Vele, that's what you got him for. But I just don't, I just don't like the fact that they were 0-3 in the red zone. Like those are points that you're leaving out there on the field. And if the New Orleans Saints could have cashed in at least one of those red zone trips, I mean, then you're looking at scoring points in the 30s, even though the New Orleans Saints should have had about 35 points in the game, especially when you talk about Blake Grupe shanking them field goals. But like I said, I mean, they won a football game. That's what matters. I mean, you can kind of clean some things up, but the things that I see in the game, that were, positive, that's great. But there were some things in the game that I'm telling you, we're going to circle back around when the Saints play a better team. And we're going to be having this conversation talking about missed field goals and missed opportunities in the red zone. So hopefully they can address those issues and put an emphasis on the red zone this week and put an emphasis on special teams. They're moving the ball well, but just can't capitalize in their red zone. Teams will give you the opportunity to push the ball down the field. They will give you that opportunity. But they'll kind of buckle down when they get into the red zone. Like they'll allow you to go to push the ball down the field and just kind of, zero in the red zone. That roughing the passer call was crazy. Yeah, that pass interference penalty on Kool-Aid McKinstry early in the game was ridiculous. And it's so crazy because the defender for the Giants did the same exact thing the next play, and they just called that a pass deflection. So I don't know, man. I think there's some validity behind what Sauce Gardner was saying. He said it seems like when teams are bad, the referees are, adamant on trying to throw flags and stuff like that. I don't know if they just be trying to make a situation even rougher for a team that's bad. Maybe have another storyline going where a team just can't figure it out. I don't know, man. But all I know is some of those penalties in the game were very questionable. That roughing the passer penalty sustained the drive for the Giants. Even though the Giants didn't score, it still sustained the drive for them. And I call those the Vegas flags. Down the stretch, a team is threatening. They probably won't win the game, but they're trying to get into the end zone. And maybe that touchdown will end up allowing somebody to cover the spread, or, end up I guess if a person, a team wasn't going to cover the spread, they do, or, or vice versa. I don't know what the heck going on, but all I know is that was not roughing the passer, and that wasn't pass interference. We got 572 people watching this across different platforms. I ask that you hit the like button. And I do want to take this opportunity to thank the fine folks at MyBookie. MyBookie, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And you can download the MyBookie app and download the app and get yourself the $500 buy-in option that is available. All right, the $500 buy-in option. All you have to do is select the option. And if you bet up to $500, if you lose your bet, you can get that money back. All right, so you can use the promo code SAINTS to take advantage of the opportunity. Promo code SAINTS. Should the Saints replace the turf? I mean, I think a lot of teams need to replace the turf, but that's on the equipment manager. That's on the coach. That's what that's on, man. These guys are slipping and sliding all over the field. Like, you got to make sure these guys have the right cleats on, the right spikes in the cleats. Like when you're playing in different stadiums, like you got to be able to go out there, and that's something that I feel like Sean Payton did really well. Like he was really meticulous with things like that, like from the uniform to the shoes. And I know that people may think that that's insane, but in games like this, that can matter. Like that could be the defender who equipment manager didn't go out there and account for the turf being in a certain condition, right? And your team probably staying upright because you did. It's the little things about football that matter, and that can be an advantage for you. Like you got to be able to not only watch the film, but you also got to be able to understand the conditions, rather as wind conditions, the grass. You got, like, if it's raining, like you got to be able to do like wet ball drills. If it's windy, you got to make sure that you're creating these elements that these guys are going to be battling in every single week. And if you just act like it don't exist, like let's just line the guys up, then you might end up getting beat because you didn't come prepared by doing the little things. So they need to figure something out. Where's the New York guy that told me I'll see if you're around after the game? Yeah, he probably upset. Red zone offense is trash. The play calling is terrible down there. I just don't think they have that one guy that they can just look at being a red zone threat. And also, like you said, the play calling isn't ideal. Like you got to find a way to get into the end zone. And I'm pretty sure as time goes on and as he gets healthier, they'll probably utilize Taysom Hill a little bit more in the red zone. But they got to find a way to get up in that thing. I kept saying he will win soon. Hello, the Bucks playing now, and you're here. Well, look, I'm glad that Hello is here, man. We enjoy him being here. Let's see. BG is not healthy, but needs to sit him down if he is unhealthy. Man, I don't know. Look, I ain't trying to make no excuses for him. Like, this dude got one job. He had one job, and that's to kick a field goal. He got one job. And if he can't do that and he's injured, then he needs to go sit down somewhere because it's making him look like he's just absolutely terrible at his job. I mean, you missing field goals left and right. And I'm telling you, like a lot of his field goals, even like extra points, like they don't look like on point. Like they look like they just drift off to the left most of the time. Need to figure it out. Lucky we wear up. That play would have cost us. I mean, Blake Grupe in general. Lucky, and that was I was having an issue. I'm like, man, the Saints are winning, but they not pulling away. And once but the defense was playing lights out. Like defense, they was like, okay, we're gonna be out here, and they just created opportunities for the offense, and the offense wasn't able to capitalize more times than not. And I say it's the things that we don't pay attention to in victory is the things that you pay attention to in defeat. But I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Good win. There are still things they need to build on. Glad to see Rattler and Moore get their first dub. Yeah. Ms. Rattler is a glorified number 2. What's happening to be Creole? Sucks fans always in our business. Look, man, I'm just happy. Look, I don't care what team you root for. I appreciate you stopping by the show. Why the refs so horrible on us? That's a good question. I have absolutely no idea. But even at Brian Burns, like offsides penalty, like he jumps offsides, and they're like, okay, he didn't jump offsides because the clock hit 2 minutes when he did it. Like what? Like it's like I don't know, man. It's like they are so meticulous when it comes to like certain plays and technique and stuff like that when they play the Saints. Like I watch a lot of football. I promise you. Like anybody know, like state of NFL, we watch a lot of football over there, like live streams, etc. We watch all these games. And I'm telling you, man, some of the calls that I see referees make on the Saints, I'm like looking like, man, what in God's name like is going on? Like they just so like dialed in and letter of the law. when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. And I'm just like, what, how is it that these other teams can get away with it, but they calling it right down the middle when it comes to the Saints? And most of the penalties today, they weren't even penalties. Man, if I'm cool, like if I'm the secondary coach and I'm talking to Kool-Aid, I'll be like, man, keep playing your game. If I'm Bo Davis, I'm telling Carl Granderson, keep playing your game, because there's nothing about that technique from Kool-Aid or Carl that I would change. And like I said, I hope that the NFL gives that man his sack back, because it was clearly a sack. It was not roughing a passer. It was not roughing a passer. He was nowhere near the head and neck area of Jackson Dart. Like, he just came around a corner and he came with so much speed, he was able to basically just tee off on him because he came free. I don't understand where the roughing a passer penalty actually come from. Even the guy who basically, is the rules analyst, that was at the game with CBS, he was like, man, I don't understand that either. Like, what are you supposed to do? I don't get it, man. They robbed that man out of a sack today. And like I said, I hope that the NFL makes that correction. I know sometimes, like when guys, end up, getting sacks, or, they call it a half a sack and they go back and look at the footage, they might give a guy a whole sack. I just hope that they go back and look at that roughing the passer penalty. They realize that it wasn't roughing the passer, and they give that man his 5.5 sack on the season. TJ, this is the first game I've seen Kool-Aid trust his instincts. Also, Sinker is quickly becoming a favorite rookie of mine. That kid has it. Yeah, he's Johnny on the spot. He's always seen to be where he needs to be and always around the football. And he has really good cover skills as well. So he definitely is a pleasant surprise. And to think that we wouldn't even have seen this much production out of Sinker if Julian Blackmon didn't go down. Now, I feel bad for Julian Blackmon going down, but this created a great opportunity for Sinker to come in and make plays. And like I said, it wasn't just him. I mean, I think Quincy Riley played well. Like, I didn't really hear no big plays being caught on him. I thought Terrell Burgess, I like the fact that how he recovered, like on that flea flicker, because that was going to be a big play. Like, people were talking about, oh man, Jackson Dart like sailed the football or something. Nah, man, Terrell Burgess, man, he covered a lot of ground to be able to get that pass deflection. Like, you're seeing these young guys make plays, and that's the type of things that you want to pay attention to. Like, we know that this season is going to be ideal. The Saints are in rebuild mode, but when you're seeing young players make plays and grow and develop right in front of your eyes, it just makes you feel good about the future of this football team. You have these players, and then you add some more talent around them as they learn to become pros, all the while bringing in young talent that can make immediate impact. Because make no mistake about it, Saints won today, but they still going to be in a position, in my opinion, where they're going to be picking in the top 5 or the top 10, getting themselves an impactful player that could come in and give them some consistency at the position, rather it be a pass rush, rather it be a quarterback. Somebody is going to come in to, add to this team. And if you can get these young players involved and as the weeks go by, they start making plays left and right, you can be very optimistic about the future. Can't keep settling for field goals, especially with inconsistent kickers. Yep. As a ass team playing another ass team, whoop-de-doo. Somebody got to win. People don't want to talk about the obvious, though. The offense wasn't good at all. I'm talking about it. I know y'all hear me talking about it. I'm not one of those people like, oh, man, that's great. But look, here's the reality. We're saying whoop-de-doo because the Saints haven't won a game since last December. Like I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm not excited or happy today that the Saints won. Like, oh, yeah, they won. Okay. It's not like I don't think anybody's sitting up here acting like, oh, man, the Saints about to go on a 10-game winning streak. It's the fact that the New Orleans Saints have not won a football game, and I don't know how long. And, you can be Debbie Downer, but, man, I don't think that this is the day to do so. Yeah, there's some things that they need to work on. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Like, it doesn't negate the fact that the New Orleans Saints offense was 0-3 in the red zone. Doesn't negate the fact that Blake Grupe shanked field goals. It doesn't negate that. But the reality is people are happy because every single week since this season has started, dating back to last season, we have been talking about the Saints losing, why they lost, and what they need to do now. I would at least like to have at least one conversation where the Saints won. We can congratulate them on some good things, all the while understanding that this team needs to work on some stuff too. So, yeah, people are happy. Yeah, they're happy the Saints won today, but I don't think anybody's thinking the Saints going to the Super Bowl or something after this. All y'all that say Rattler can't win can shut up. He finally gets his first win as a Saints quarterback. I'll take that all day, every day. Feels good to be on the right side of the scoreboard. Yep. Like I said, you can go back and you can talk and you can discuss all these different things, about the team and talk about how, how the team look and all that. And look, they won today. And once again, I don't think too many wins going to happen. So need to enjoy them when they show up. The team as a whole does seem to be improving every week. They playing for each other. Like they playing for one another. This was one of those games where you can clearly see they were playing for one another. I think that's on more too. It is tackle football. I don't know what that is. Simpkins is a beast. This draft class is looking good. Yeah, I think he played pretty solid today. Like I said, I thought that the running game was getting going in the second half, and they did hold up for Spencer Rattler. They didn't have any sacks. Now, I think that's a combination of two things, a combination of Spencer Rattler's escapability and also him getting the ball out of his hands, and also in some cases the offensive line holding up as well. So, I think that you can think all three of those scenarios as to why Spencer Rattler didn't take a sack on today. I'm sorry to be negative, but we're still not a good team. I mean, I think we all know that. I think we all know the New Orleans Saints still on a good team. But like I said, you don't have too many Sundays like this. I mean, look, it's been a very miserable season so far for the New Orleans Saints. For 4 consecutive weeks, everybody been talking about how the Saints have lost and how they ain't got no wins and how they just not a good football team. They still, they still got issues. And no, like I said, this doesn't absolve the issues, but they won. And, there's not too many of these going around. So I understand why people are happy. I understand it. But, I mean, sitting up there like, yeah, they won, but they still ain't good. Like, they won a football game. And, they did some things really well and things that they need to improve on. So you got a choice. You can sit up here and say, okay, they won, keep it moving, don't appreciate it. And then, you may not know the next win they might have. We can say, okay, they playing against a Patriot team that's not really good, but, man, that don't mean that the Patriots can't come in and beat them. So I'm just saying, enjoy the wins when they're here. I think Kellen is still trying to figure out how he wants to call his offense. I think they just need more weapons. Sinker had a big game. Yeah. I told you, big dog, to have faith, look for positive results over negative at all times. Yeah, I mean, look, I look at the positive things, but like I said, I look at the things that are glaring as well. There's a lot of positive things that happen in this game, but there's some things that, could get you beat down the line. Good teams win the games they're supposed to. We all had them going 0-4 and getting their first win against these Giants. We finna go on a run. The seal has been broken. Oh, we'll see. See, TJ, you are muted. Yeah, at the beginning of the show. Yeah, I had the mute button on, but I turned it on. Somebody says refresh. Okay, am I muted still? Hold on. Y'all can hear me, right? I want to make sure everybody can hear me. Because I don't know, maybe that was like at the beginning of the show. Because I remember me hitting the mute button. Okay. I was just trying to make sure. I remember like hitting the mute button and before I got started. I think maybe that was like during the time. Hold on. Let me see when you all were talking about me being muted. I think that was like earlier. Yeah, it was quite a bit. I had to stroll up a little bit even to find it. Oh, I think I already read that, but yeah, thank you, Tyra, for the $4.99. All right, I was just trying to make sure everybody hear me. I think when I was reading like the comments that happened like right after Kellen Moore's press conference. And so that I was reading maybe like 10 or 20 minutes back. Strolled down a little bit. Said, I think the Seattle game was a gut check for everyone. Defense really helped today with 5 turnovers. Defense not going to get scoop and score and pick 6 every game. If defense doesn't do that, score would have been close, maybe even lost by a point or 2. Well, now look, we could talk about if this, if that, but it's complementary football for a reason. You talk about, oh man, if this wouldn't happen, man, football is the ultimate team sport. I keep telling y'all, I've been saying this for weeks when people were like, oh man, Spencer Rattler, he don't look good, he can't win. I'm like, football is the ultimate team sport, right? I mean, if your defense is giving up big plays and your offense is struggling and you're not that good on offense, like, of course you're probably going to lose. And if your offense is struggling, if your defense can pick up the slack, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what you want. You want to be able to help each other out. The offense is not going to be as electrifying as it is probably from week to week. The defense has to pick up their slack, and the defense is not going to generate 5 turnovers like you alluded to. So the offense has to pick up their slack. So it's a complementary game. So, you got to be able to complement one another. But like I said, if was a fifth, we all would be drunk. But today, the New Orleans Saints did enough to win a football game thanks to the defense. TJ, I remember after Ernest Sanker was drafted, you wasn't so sure about him. I won't say I wasn't too sure about him. I just did, because I seen Ernest Sanker play. I mean, I seen him play in person. Like they play Coastal Carolina played Virginia. Like in his final season there. So I know he had talent, but I wasn't 100% sure like you would need to send a rookie out there because you just don't know. Like guys like a 3rd round pick, I didn't say he was like going to be garbage, but a young guy and you don't have like any veteran like behind him. Yeah, I had my questions. Yeah, I had my questions about it, but he's a ball hawking guy. He's a good tackler. I'll have to go back and have to look. I'll have to like listen to the context of like what I said about him, because I know I ain't just was ragdolling him or something like that. Because I seen him play. Like I know he was like a opportunistic ball hawking type safety. Man, y'all want a cookie saying Saints still not good? Yeah. Drop that too for the Rattler. 504 company says TJ, we have to get Vele involved more, treat him like as your number one, everybody else will eat. Yeah, I just think they need to get this man more targets, man. I would give him Brandon Cooks target. I'd be forgetting Brandon Cooks even on the team. This win moves us from 1st pick to the 5th pick. Happy for the win, but I'd rather suffer now to ensure success in the long run. Well, trust and believe. Like I said, enjoy this win because I'm pretty sure you're probably not going to get too many of them this season. So enjoy them. Enjoy them. Like, and I don't think like it's going to prohibit the inevitable, which is the Saints picking in top 5, top 10. I don't want to win games to lose draft position. Season is over. I've been seeing glimpses of Drew and Rattler. I don't know, man. I don't see any similarities there. I think that Spencer Rattler is a tough guy. I think that he gives his all when he's out there on the field. He has a warrior spirit. I just think that, the football gods made him limited as a quarterback. But the ability that God has blessed him with, he's using every ounce of it in these football games. But, I just think that he leaves a lot to be desired. That's just him, right? I don't think he's ever going to be that 350-yard, 4-touchdown, put a team on back type quarterback that Saints fans, some of y'all probably are used to and have seen constantly from Drew Brees in your lifetime. It's just not it, right? And that's okay. Like, you can still win a game with a guy who manages the game, that doesn't put the ball in harm's way, that doesn't, turn the ball over, doesn't really, cause his team any hardships. So you can still win with that, but you need a good sound offensive line, you need a really good running game, and you need a defensive performance, kind of similar to what happened today. I'm not saying 5 turnovers, but opportunistic defense. Not rather fault his pass catchers drop easy passes at times. Love to see young players contributing because it allows the team to focus on the next area of concern. All we can hope for in a rebuild. Yeah. He could be better because he can scramble better. I mean, there was a couple of times where Rattler scrambled. Like, there was like one play he was able to scramble, make somebody miss, and got the first down. Do you think do you think we have found the missing O-line piece in Simpkins? I don't know, Rudy. I don't know if you found like the missing piece or not. But if he can play steady, he can make things interesting when Cesar Ruiz come back. Because if he's playing steady and that offensive line is generating results, it's going to be hard for Cesar Ruiz to come back. Especially like it's not like Quentin Nelson left and came back. I mean, Cesar Ruiz, according to PFF grades, he's one of the worst at his position and has struggled. So if Simpkins can provide stability, it will make it very interesting around the time when Ruiz come back. Today, the first game all season, I could say we played complementary football minus the kicking game and red zone problems. Yeah, it was complementary football today, Justin. It was complementary football. It was one of those games where the New Orleans Saints relied on one another offensively, defensively. You still got to take advantage of some of those turnovers, which the Saints didn't. That's what I didn't like. And this was yet another game where the New Orleans Saints generated, turnovers, and the offense couldn't do anything with it. But also credit to them, as I'm going to get to you, Brandon. But I want to credit the New Orleans Saints defense, because we seen last week, the narrative and what we were talking about was taking advantage of the opportunities when they present themselves. When the Buffalo Bills threw the ball at Pete Werner, he dropped it, right? But every time the ball was in the vicinity of a defensive player, they made a play. Rather, it was a defensive pass deflection, an interception, a fumble recovery. They took advantage of the opportunities, right? So I want to give them credit for that, because last week we was lambasting those guys because they didn't take advantage of the opportunities. This week they did, and it paid dividends. Hopefully this game can somehow give the team some type of confidence going forward. Well, I think it'll give them confidence, but like I said, it doesn't completely absolve them of some of the things that have gotten them beaten. Tyrone Jones says, great win. Saints need a better tight end and better defensive line in the middle to stop the run. Yeah, I think all that will probably come in the draft. Get yourself a big run-stuffing interior lineman. And I think you need a guy that can consistently give you a pass rush. It was supposed to be Chase Young, but we haven't seen him in quite some time. Watch when we beat the Pats next Sunday. They're going to be looking crazy. Well, if they beat the Pats, then you got yourself some momentum going. Brandon Cook cashing checks. That's about all he cashing. Let's see. Chris Olave said people who hating right now are just mad because they want the Saints to tank. They ain't real fans. Yeah, I think the Saints are probably not going to be winning too many games if they try to tank or not. Even if they're not trying to tank, I should say. They're just not a good team, right? They won today. They took advantage of opportunities, and that's great. But this doesn't absolve them of the ineptitude of the things that we've seen from a front office standpoint, from a personnel standpoint, Like they're still limited. Like just because they won today don't mean that, like they just about to go on a run, about to turn into the Eagles or something, even though the Eagles lost today. LOL, y'all need to follow the 24-hour rule. Enjoy the win. We can talk about the problems later. I don't want to say like I understand enjoying the win. I do. I'm not saying not talk about the problems, but I think you can do both. Like I enjoyed the fact that I said like it was good to see, to be honest with you, it was good to see that the Saints held a 26-14 lead in the fourth quarter late and was able to hold on to it. And after, they end up like, getting a turnover on down, I'm talking to Giants, the Saints were able to get the football and milk the clock. They like the Giants used up all three of their timeouts. The Saints converted on a fourth down, kept the clock moving. And it made it pretty obvious that the New Orleans Saints were going to win around the 3-minute mark. So you don't have to worry about, oh man, are they gonna be able to hold on to the lead? Man, can they win a football game? Or the Giants driving to try to win the football game? Like it wasn't any of that. So it was good to feel like feeling and knowing that the New Orleans Saints were going to get the victory around the 3-minute mark. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to like just completely like this, like pile on the team. Like, I definitely agree they need to enjoy this victory. Kellen Moore was coaching scared in a fourth. I wanted him to keep his foot down, but he was scared. I don't agree with that. I don't think he was scared. Like, if he was scared, he would have punted that ball on the 4th and 5 instead of telling Rattler to do a quick slant to Rashid Shaheed to pretty much seal the game. Like, there were times where the Saints actually went for it. They went for it on 4th and 1 with Taysom Hill. Like I don't want to say he played scared. I think he made some smart decisions, and I thought that he really like trusted his team in some cases as well. So I don't want to say that he was playing scared. Now I do question in the first half, he had the 2 timeouts and the Saints were using tempo, pushing the ball down the field. And it wasn't until maybe like 19 seconds that he ended up using the timeout. It was almost like, okay, if we get down here, we'll call a timeout. But if we don't, then we'll just go ahead and go into the locker room. I mean, I didn't like that. And I definitely didn't like the fact that they were throwing the ball short when they were in the red zone instead of like 2 shots down the field. Like, I think that you would have had 2 opportunities. I don't know, put Devon Vele on the outside for a 50-50 ball or something. Or maybe try to get a matchup that's favorable between Juwan Johnson and a linebacker. Like, you had 2 opportunities, 2 shots at the end zone. They decided to check it down to Alvin with one of them and tried to do a quick fade route, which Spencer Rattler sailed out of bounds that was supposed to be intended for Alvin. I didn't like that play calling right there. But there are times where I just feel like, they just want to kind of keep things in front of them. And I understand that. But I think you need to be aggressive. But I don't think it was to a point where it was just absolutely egregious today. I think that he took some risk in this game. Don't turn the ball over 3 times. That's not it. Chris Olave said, just because we played bad the first 4 games doesn't mean they can't turn it around. I mean, they could turn it around, but, man, I just don't want you to get your hopes up, man. I don't want you to get your hopes up. Like, I don't see winning streak for this football team. I don't see it. Like, I just think that you just have to take the good, when the good things happen, and, with the bad, like based on a team that's just rebuilding, like you got to like see, okay, what are the bright spots? Like, just enjoy this victory today. I honestly don't feel like this victory today is an indicator of anything. Like, I didn't see it. Like, I seen 5 turnovers from a defense, which is like insane. Like, you're not going to see too many teams generate 5 turnovers in a football game. You're just not, so I don't want to be like, oh man, is this the start of something? Like, nah, I just think that the Giants are a team that's struggling, more than likely going to fire their coach at the end of the season, fire their general manager. And, this is one of the reasons why, because they can't make adjustments and they're not a good football team. So, the Saints took advantage of that. They're playing at home. And look, it just shows you how much the Saints fans just want a better product. They just want to see this team win. Like, I mean, the crowd was like basically sitting on their hands throughout the time. Then all of a sudden, when the Saints start to generate turnovers, that's when they start getting into the game, starting to get loud, starting to get crazy, starting to get active. Like, man, Saints fans just want to give them something to cheer about. Like, if you show that you can hold up your end of the bargain, Saints fans will hold up their end of the bargain, which is making a whole bunch of noise, making their throat so raspy they can't even talk to their colleagues or their coworkers at work on Monday morning. Like, they're going to give you everything they have if they feel like you're giving everything that you have to them. So, yeah, I think they are finally playing the regular season. We haven't won a game with a drafted quarterback since 1998. As Danny Wolfel. I think they say a lot about our coaches and team, right? Man, I just think that they won today. That's what I think. I don't think this is the start of anything. I don't feel like the Saints are going to go on a run. Like, I don't take anything from this game when it comes to the Saints winning, besides the fact that they just won a football game. They played really well. They played well enough to win the football game. If you win the turnover battle 5-0, like, you should win a football game. Like, I want to see the percentage of a team who generates 5 turnovers and lose a football game. Secondary stepped up today big time. Kool-Aid is redeeming himself and getting his swagger back. I think he had a really good game. This is a really good start where he can step up and build on this momentum. And it can do wonders to your confidence. Sinker stepping up. And what did I tell you? PW, he racking up key tackles for the team. Pete Warner, I assume. Yeah, I mean, he led the team in tackles today with 11. So really good bounce back, for Pete Warner. Not sure why they not using Bailey a lot. I don't understand it either. He's been on the team 5 weeks. You should have a game plan for him. We should beat any team on a good day, but I don't see any consistency. We most definitely in a rebuild. If you know football, you know this isn't that good. Like I said, you got to take the good with the good. And, the bad things that happen, just need to understand it's a learning process. Whoa, now, you want to tank a loser, got that dumb mindset. Yeah, man, look, I don't feel like anybody needs to be talking about tanking or anything like that. Like, you should want the Saints to win football games. You shouldn't be like, oh, man, let's just look toward the future and all that kind of stuff. Like, if you have a locker room full of guys that are just content with losing, then like you're in worse shape. Like, the fact that the New Orleans Saints are going out there, continuing to battle, understanding that they're limited, and still trying to come away with victories, still trying to win football games, man, that's optimism at its finest, man. Like, that's positivity at its finest. Like, you don't want to see your team just going out there just okay with being losers. Like, you don't want that. And then on top of that, everybody was talking about, man, this team might go 0-17. This team might go 0-17. That's what people were saying last week. Man, this team might go 0-17. They finally win a football game, and we not okay with that either. I don't get it. And we talking about draft positioning. Like, come on, man. Like, even if the Saints get a top 3 pick, top 5 pick, that person still would need a supporting cast around them. They still gonna need somebody to be able to catch the ball if they get a quarterback. They still gonna have to be able to have teammates that can generate pressure if they get themselves a pass rusher. They still gonna need teammates to be able to help in a secondary if they're a cornerback. So, like, there's no savior that just coming in that you just gonna get right away. Like, it's just not. And once again, football is the ultimate team sport. So regardless who they get, they still gonna need some players to be able to complement whoever comes in. TJ, today we made some good plays, some mistakes, but ultimately we were able to capitalize on the opposing team's mistakes. Would you agree? Oh, absolutely. I mean, the defense did. The offense, got the ball back, but in some cases wasn't able to capitalize on what the defense gave them. But credit to the defense. They kept going out there and giving the offense opportunities to be able to pull this game, pull away from this game. And, you know. So credit to them. I mean, didn't we win the turnover battle in one of the games last season and still lost? Yeah. Which was uncharacteristic, but I love that baller blocking shirt, brother. Yeah, man. Look, yeah, I had this shirt for a while, man. You know, I was kind of nervous actually wearing it because like the shirt had some green in it, like a Juvenile's soldier rag got green in it. I was like, man, I hope it actually picks up. I hope it don't like show like because there's a green screen behind me, so you have a green screen and it start displaying off your shirt. But yeah, man, I was glad I got opportunity to wear it. The positives are not the plays, it's who made the plays, and that's the young players. Yep. Those are the things that you can build on. The fact that Rattler is the first drafted Saints quarterback to win a game since '98 should tell you there was a bigger problem than Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler had a 99.5 quarterback rating today. I understand keeping it objective, but like, bro, can we at least want to win and build on this regardless? Yeah. Like, I ain't trying to be sitting up here. Like, these are some like depressing episodes. Like, y'all just don't understand. Like, sitting up here watching this team lose week after week after week, and having to do this podcast, it's not ideal. You want to see your team win. You want to be able to talk about some of the things that your team did well that led to a victory. Like, I don't want to keep on sitting up here talking about the team losing over and over again and wallowing in misery and talking about how they need to get rid of this guy and that guy and trying to find ways to win. Like you want to feel like the team is trending in the right direction despite the fact that they're in a rebuild. So there's that. But let's stop right there. Let's talk a little bit about some of the stats here. Spencer Rattler, 20 of 30, 225 yards, was sacked 0 times, no sacks at all. Taysom Hill, 1 of 1 for 19 yards. Of course, the 19-yard pass to Juwan Johnson. Kendre Miller, who ran the ball really well today. I mean, I know the stat sheet don't really reflect that, but he had 10 carries for 41 yards, 4.1 average, had a long of 11. Alvin Kamara, 8 carries for 27 yards. You have Spencer Rattler, 6 carries for 21. Taysom ran the ball 6 times, had a negative 1 yard. So like I said, I mean, it's a work in progress with Taysom. I just think that the Saints were just trying to, just put him out there in spurts just to try to get him a few reps. I think they'll probably rev it up as the weeks go by. You'll probably see a little bit more of Taysom and probably a little bit more effective Taysom Hill. Rashid Shaheed, 4 catches for 114 yards and the touchdown, had that long 87-yard bomb from Spencer Rattler. Chris Olave, 7 catches for 59 yards. Alvin Kamara, 4 catches for 28. Juwan Johnson, 2 catches for 17. Devon Vele, 2 catches for 13. Kendre had a catch for 8. Brandon Cooks had a catch for 5. And Spencer Rattler caught his own pass. He threw it out of bounds, which was like one of the funniest things I've seen in a minute. But he didn't get a yard on that play. But it's crazy he threw a pass to himself. It's always funny like to see a quarterback get a reception because it came from himself, unless it's like some type of trick play. Miller reminds me of rookie AK with his decision making when it comes to finding a hole and that balance. Yeah, he definitely is coming alive and really coming into himself, and he's getting better in pass protection. And I just think that that's probably a good thing for Alvin, and I'm pretty sure Alvin appreciates that too, because he doesn't have to like get so much wear and tear on his body, and you can rely on the other running back. Which to me, I feel like the New Orleans Saints may need to break the seal on Devin Neal. I know he played in week 1, but I haven't seen anything from the special teams with Velus Jones that feel like he just needs to be up and running. I mean, in special teams, I don't think that he returned the ball really well today. He made really bad decisions, like to open a game. Like, come on, man, just let that ball bounce out in the end zone. Like, let it go into back of the end zone for a touchback, start on the 35. Instead, he tries to return the ball, and I get it. Like, when you're playing on special teams, opportunities are few and far in between, so you try to take advantage of that. But it just wasn't really good decision-making by Jones. So, to me, like, why you have him out there? Like, that can be Devin Neal's spot. That can be a guy that can come in be able to provide something for you, and you can have yourself not only a 1-2 punch, but a 1-2-3 punch at the running back position. And maybe, you know, if you're using Kendre Miller to return kicks, I mean, why not? Right. Like, it's not like you're using Village Jones. And you could tell, like, the Phil Giuliano, the special teams coach, was frustrated with Village Jones, because then we started to see Kendre Miller returning kicks. So to me, it's like, okay, that could be Devin Neal's spot. You know, if you're going to be returning kicks with Kendre Miller, like, let Devin Neal play. TJ, how you feel about finally getting an explosive play for a touchdown? Man, been waiting for that one. Yeah, I mean, you kind of seen that the Saints wanted to do it. I mean, they started the game off with a play action pass. Like, sailed over the head of Rashid Shaheed, but you could tell, like, it was very early in the game that the Saints wanted to aggressively push the ball down the field. And, you know, credit to them doing so. They found it, and you know, the defense finally gave it to them, and it ended up in a big play. What up, Jerry? You glad we finally got our first win? And shout out to the O-line. That's a good defensive line they went up against. Yeah, that was. I mean, you can really pat yourself on the back when you go up against you know, a defensive line like that and they don't get a sack. We locked in with Blake for now, bro. Shaking my head. Nah, man, you got Charlie Smith on this team. TJ doing Sunday night, bro. Yeah, I'm doing Sunday night football. We'll be back you know, in a few hours covering Sunday night football on the state of NFL. Big time matchup, Buffalo Bills taking on their AFC East rivals, the New England Patriots. So should be a fun game to watch. See if Drake May can actually build off that momentum after they beat the brakes off Carolina last week. Congratulations to Rattler. Groupie needs to retire or something. I think they just need to sit him down. You know, it kind of reminded me of like Sean Payton when he had like Garrett Hartley, and Garrett Hartley would have like these little kicking issues. So he would, I don't know, go get John Carney or something like that, be a kicker consultant, or they'll probably like get another kicker on the team, but they wouldn't get rid of him because, you know, it's like they believed in him, right? I think it's just one of those situations where, like, I just think that maybe he's in his head. Like, sit him down and allow, you know, Charlie Smith to be activated at least one game. Like, at least see what Charlie Smith can do. Like, what's the worst that can happen, right? I mean, he missed field goals. Well, Blake Groupie been missing field goals all season long. So I just think they need to, like, sit Groupie down. And lucky for him, they have a situation that can be that way. But I just think that they're doing themselves a disservice, Blake Groupie a disservice, because it's clear that he's not kicking the ball well. And he's going to end up costing this team, and it's going to make y'all extremely frustrated. I'm talking the organization, going to make the organization frustrated, and fans continue to be frustrated. Like, we could talk about it now with kind of fine-tooth gloves on, like being able to, like, talk about this in a victory, but you're going to be really ticked off if this guy shank a field goal that matters, really matters, like really, truly matters. Like, all the field goals matter, but they won today. The field goals that he kicked could cost the Saints a game. Defensive secondary is a real dog on the field. Offense secondary needs to step up on the field. I hope they grandma are happy for the victory over the New York Giants. They singing, "Oh, Jesus, amen." Let's see, TJ, my heart stopped when Kellen went for it on fourth down, but we made it. How do you feel about the play call? Risky, but showed confidence in the team. I know he's been making cute calls. Well, I think that, you know, it definitely was him instilling confidence in his team. I like the play call. Like, man, look, you're 0-4 team. You ain't really got nothing to lose, right? You already got a lead here, and if you convert, then you can take more time off the clock. So I thought it was a really good decision. Bro, TJ, we played the first two games like we did today. Do you think we would have won? I mean, yeah. But the Saints had chances to win those games. So it just didn't work out in their favor. Today, they were able to capitalize on some turnovers and keep that lead. Like, the Saints went into the half, leading the game, and they were able to maintain a lead, which is something they haven't done in quite some time. Starting a competition with the kickers again, bro, Groupie will understand we need consistency. Yeah, I think I would let Charlie Smith play. At TJ, good afternoon to you. Who that Saints fan? Chantel, thank you for being here. Really do appreciate it. Says we need to make a trade for a disruptive edge. I mean, yeah, they need to make a trade, but I don't think that's happening. I mean, you might end up like being able to get yourself a franchise edge rusher in this year's draft. Because, like I said, man, I still don't feel like the New Orleans Saints are going to win a lot of games this season. Rattler won because Groupie scored 14. Rattler scored 6, and Howden scored 6. Rattler was 66% and only 1 touchdown. Correction. The Saints scored 14. All right. They also scored 6. And Howden scored 6. So as a team collectively, they scored. Like we didn't like we're not doing that, man. They only did this. They only did that. Nah, man. It's a collective effort. Like we can't like separate players like they don't play on the same team. Football is the ultimate team sport. If Jordan Howden returns a fumble recovery for a touchdown, the Saints score a touchdown. If Spencer Rattler throw an 87-yard touchdown, the Saints made an 87-yard touchdown. If Blake Groupie kicks a field goal and it's 3 points, the Saints have 3 points. We can't separate these situations because we got an agenda that we need to uphold here. Spencer Rattler did what he needed to do in spurts in order for them to, win football games. He made plays. The defense made plays. That's all that matters at the end of the day. I'm not going to sit up here and try to dissect who did what in order to make things happen because this is the ultimate team game, which is football. All right. Like you can have your issues and reservations about Spencer Rattler being a starting quarterback, making, getting things done. The fact of the matter is the team won the day, right? You can say that he ain't it and all that kind of stuff, or have your feelings about him. They won a football game. Honestly, I like our young defensive core. No sense in trading for players if we're not at least in playoff contention. Yeah, I just think that you need to build on what you have right now and then see where you at, going into the offseason. Reed went down and Howden came in, instantly making plays. That's next man up right there. Yeah, made plays and, was a difference maker. If it's a team, then don't hate on Groupie. Well, Groupie missed field goals. All right. You're talking about leaving points on the field. Like, here's the thing. If you're a quarterback, you're relying on a wide receiver to catch the ball, right? Right? If you're a quarterback, you're relying on a running back if you're catching the ball out of the backfield, right? Is he throwing the ball to himself? Well, he threw the ball to himself one time, but is he throwing the ball to himself? No. But when you're a field goal kicker, snap placement, it's up to you to kick the ball between the uprights. But yes, it is an ultimate team sport. But like I said, you can try to spin it any way that you want to. The fact of the matter is, a field goal kicker has one job. A quarterback has multiple jobs. His numbers, the way that he plays the quarterback position, relies on the fact of his teammates catching the football or him handing off the football to a running back. A field goal kicker goes out there and his job is to kick the ball between the uprights by himself, right? Like, he kicks the ball between the uprights. If he does not kick the ball between the uprights, then they don't get any points. A quarterback can throw the ball on the money to a wide receiver. He drops it. Guess what? It's an incomplete pass. Is it the quarterback's fault? No. So, yes, it is different. But like I said, you can try to spin this any way that you want to. Football is the ultimate team sport. When a player when a player scores a touchdown, the whole team scores a touchdown. So you can continue to try to maintain that agenda if you want to, but nobody, like, at the end of the day, nobody cares, right? Seriously, like that, that bothers me about folk. Like, y'all just can't call a spade a spade. Y'all so busy trying to be right about some ish. Like, the guy won a football game today. You can try to break it down. Oh man, all he did was this. All he did was that. Like, come on, man. Like, we better than that. Like, and if you want to try to keep agendas alive, fine. Like, if you want to sit up here and say the man leave a lot to be desired, fine. Nobody's saying that the guy is Patrick Mahomes or anything like that. But the man won a football game. And it's like the narrative has been, oh, he can't win a game as a starter. He wins a game as a starter, and we still up here trying to dissect the game. Like, come on, man. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Like, you know, if you don't like the dude, don't want the guy to be the quarterback, that's fine. But don't try to like, oh, Jordan, like this ain't basketball or something. Like, you know, even basketball is a team sport, but football is the ultimate team sport. A quarterback can throw for 450 yards like Russell Wilson did a couple weeks ago for the Giants and still lose. The responsibility of a quarterback is completely different than a kicker. Kicker got one job. One job, and that's kick the ball between the uprights. Quarterback got to deliver the ball to his wide receivers and hope that they catch it. Quarterback got to be able to extend plays, run outside the pocket, slide for first downs, look at the defensive coverages, know where the blitz is actually coming from, make adjustments at the line of scrimmage, like being able to check it down, understanding like what the defense is actually doing for him, all the while trying to make sure that his head don't get taken off. A kicker goes out there, yeah, they trying to rush at him at time to time, but his job is just to kick the ball between the uprights. One freaking job. One. That ain't the move, man. You can say whatever you want to, but that, you know, the job of a kicker is completely different from a job of a quarterback or a cornerback or a running back. I'm happy Spencer Rattler and the Saints got a victory today. Like, who wants to look at sense when I got an agenda that I need to run with? Rattler still had a nice bomb to Shaheed and got us to the red zone multiple times. Defense will finally show up. Five turnovers help. And Groupie was missing. Victory Sunday. Linda, how he looking past the results when he started the show calling out the mistakes first? No, they don't get there first. They don't never pay attention to that. Chosen. They got, like I said, who needs to understand the facts when you got an agenda that you need to run with? You know, people just sit up here and just say, "Oh man, all you do is just love on Rattler." Like several shows, like validate, like I call this man out when he don't do something right. But like I said, who needs to look at facts when you got an agenda that you need to run with? Like if you weren't here when the show first started, like of course you ain't gonna hear everything. Like you come there mid-show and you ain't hear anything that I said. You know, like you would think, oh man, all you doing is doing this. Like, man, watch the whole show. Watch the whole show. I started the show basically. What did I say? I said people have a tendency of not paying attention to the things that get you beat in victory, but they want to talk about it in the end. So, man, miss me with that, man. These next couple of games, I will expect us to win because these teams are on our level. The last four were not. Yeah. Linda, put down the Jack Daniels because you're literally getting rotisserie chicken in the comments. I mean, like I said, this ain't like, I just say damn if you do, damn if you don't. Like, okay, what do you want from this guy? Like you want him to just throw for like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns a game, then you feel like you got yourself a quarterback. Like I said, most people are just looking at this dude through the Drew Brees lens because Drew Brees was just so great at the quarterback position. So now every quarterback has to be him, look like him, resemble him. If he doesn't, then that means that he has no redeeming qualities. You have some quarterbacks that are franchise guys, can put a team on the back. And then you have guys that are game managers. You got a lot of game managers in the NFL, a lot of game managers, and teams seem to find success with game management. See, the problem is a lot of you haven't been in this situation. You're not used to the Saints having a game managing quarterback. That's what Spencer Rattler is. He's a game managing quarterback. And any quarterback that you come in here with, rather it's Tyler Shuck, he will be a game managing quarterback. That's what the Saints are right now. There's nothing wrong with teams having a game managing quarterback. You can win with a game managing quarterback and win quite a bit. So what are we looking for? Are we looking for the second coming of Drew Brees? Well, he's not it. Spencer Rattler ain't it. But if you're talking about somebody that can keep the team afloat, move the chains, consistently get the ball into the red zone, or put the team in the best position to win and be there in the end, then that's what he is. The problem is he's a game managing quarterback, but the Saints don't have other areas around him that thrive. But let's just say if Spencer Rattler was playing the way that he is right now, and the Saints had a really good running game, and you see Alvin Kamara getting over 100 yards, or Kendrick Miller getting over 100 yards, then you got yourself a really good offense, right? The problem is he's a game manager surrounded by guys that aren't impactful players. If you are a game manager, you had impactful players, like how the 49ers got Brock Purdy, who I consider a game manager, and you got Christian McCaffrey, who can hit his head on a goal post at any minute, George Kittle, who's hurt, but in most cases can hit his head on a goal post any minute, getting yards after the catch, breaking tackles, etc. Teams can be successful. So there's nothing wrong with being a game manager. Nothing wrong with that. Just need pieces around you in order for you to be able to thrive and be a successful offensive team. She will really be mad with my take then, because I'm on record saying I don't feel none of these losses this year is on Rattler. If you ask me, I felt he played well enough for us to win all the games this year. And then the thing about it is, man, he's playing solid against some really good defenses. He played really solid against a really good defensive front with the Giants, and also against the 49ers. The Seattle game, it just got way out of hand. It was 21-0 before you can sit down in your seat. But like I said, I'm not going to sit up here and act like the dude is perfect. He's not. He's not perfect. But I'm not about to sit up here in a win, and that's all we've been talking about, this man losing and being 0-10 as a starting quarterback. Now all of a sudden he win a game. Now all of a sudden we still ain't satisfied. Oh, he still ain't good enough to do this. Come on, man. The narrative is he can't win at all. You can't win with him. I think we've seen enough. I think we've seen a large enough sample size to know he can't win football games. Well, he won a football game today. So, that's all I'm saying. I understand the skepticism, the criticism at times, the inaccuracy of the football, but the guy showed you that he can at least win a game, and some people felt like he couldn't even do that. Brian Burns is the type of player I hope we draft soon, bro. Impacted every play and was always in the backfield. Yeah, always was in the backfield. Calvin Banks did a good job today. They actually switched Brian Burns on Fuaga's side. Because when Brian Burns was going up against Calvin Banks, he did a really good job against him. Calvin Banks is one of the most underrated first-round draft picks that I think I've ever seen come from the Saints. I guess because of the fact that he plays offensive line. And I know that people are talking about the quarterback position. Maybe we should have got this guy, but Calvin Banks does not make you regret drafting him in the first round with the 9th pick. There's not a doubt in my mind or ever a time where I just looked at Calvin Banks dang, man, we could have got this. Calvin Banks is as advertised. The Saints got themselves an anchor on the offensive line at left tackle as long as this guy stays healthy for the next 10 years. He is that good. He's a special football player. And the thing about it is he's a guy that hasn't even reached his full potential. He's a young guy, I want to say maybe 20, 21 years old. And, he's not even adjusted to his grown man body yet. So imagine what that's going to be like once he gets into his grown man body, really gets his strength and conditioning up. He's going to be a dangerous offensive lineman. And especially once he starts to become, emerge as that leader in that role where he's going to be able to understand what the defense is doing and going to be being able to call out protections just like Eric McCoy is doing at the line of scrimmage. TJ, if we end up picking in the top 5 at this point, do you see any college quarterback worth picking up? Yeah, I do. I see a couple of them. Man, look, I know people talking about the game. They lost against UCLA, but I still like Drew Aller as a quarterback. I just do, man. Like, the dude has, like, really good qualities. A lot of times we look at wins and losses or how a guy responds from first down to second down to game to game. If you put Drew Aller in the offense with Kellen Moore, I think the dude will thrive. I like Lenore Sellers, but like, he's a little bit reckless to me at times. I just feel like he's gonna spend a lot of time on the sidelines, like the way that he plays the quarterback position. He's a little, he scrambles with the football. He won't drop that shoulder. He won't get his Cam Newton on. Like, he has like really good arm talent and abilities and stuff like that. But you want to see your quarterback being upright. You don't want to see him like, oh, he played well today. Oh, he's out 5 weeks with a shoulder injury. Like, I don't want that. Like, I want my quarterback to be able to scramble and be able to run, but I don't want him to be trying to drop the shoulder like he Mike Allstott or something. But yeah, Drew Aller would be one. Dante Moore would be another. I think he's continued to climb up the depth chart. Like, Dante Moore is just a clutch quarterback, man. He just find ways to win. When Oregon is in like precarious situations, he always seems to come through. He kind of has that demeanor to me that kind of resembles Jaden Daniels. Like, he never gets too high, never gets too low. He has that cool head Luke type feel to him. But, I think he's going to rise up the depth charts and probably going to end up like getting drafted, by the Jets or something like that. I think that the Tennessee Titans are awful. But I think they probably going to end up keeping Cam Ward, so I'm not concerned about that. Not too many as of right now. Let me go ahead and look at Tankathon to take a look at where the draft order is as of right now. All right, so the 2026 draft consists of the Jets having the first overall pick, followed by Tennessee, Cleveland. They're going to draft a quarterback. Miami, probably not, and New Orleans. There's a chance that they might do it. And Baltimore has the 6th pick. So the Saints, as of right now, have the 5th pick in the draft. So, you're still looking at the possibility, of being able to get a really high caliber quarterback in the first round. So this day and age, you need a dual threat quarterback. You need a dual threat quarterback, Brandon. You do, but you don't need a dual threat quarterback that's looking to run first and don't run responsibly. Like, I'm all for running. Don't get me wrong. Like I look at a quarterback, Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen, I mean, that's a prime example right there. He has the capability of running, but he ain't trying to drop the shoulder. Like, he running outside the pocket. He gonna slide, right? Like, he gonna get down before you take like a huge hit on him. And this is a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback we talking about here. Like, you can be a running quarterback when the pocket collapses, but you also got to run responsibly. Like, you can't be dropping a shoulder and stuff like that, like how Anthony Richardson was doing, or Lenore Sellers. Like, you can't do those things because you have to be upright for your team. If you're not available, then you're setting the team back. And I get it. Like, you're trying to lay it out there all on the line, but it's bigger than you, Like, we know you tough. We know that you can get the first down. We know that you're big enough to run this guy over, but you need to be a responsible runner. I just think that some of these quarterbacks in today's, NFL and college football are not responsible runners. Like, it's okay to slide. It's okay to give yourself up. You don't have to sit up here and be dropping a shoulder on nobody. So, I think that, having the capability of running, like Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart has the capability of running. But like I said, also, I noticed that he was sliding a little bit more this game than it was last game. Like, yeah, fire up your teammates. Oh, this guy's tough. And you trying to prove something to your teammates, but you can't prove nothing to them if you're on the sidelines 2 to 5 weeks. Memphis Tigers got on offense and defense, TJ. They won over Tulsa Golden Hurricanes last night, 45-7. They got dogs on it. Yeah, Memphis, they're a talented team, man. Currently sitting in my car waiting on 6 o'clock so I can clock out and head home. Been here since 6 a.m. Oh, okay, so you hiding out right now. I got you, man. It be like that sometimes. I love how Rattler went at his old teammate. Are you talking about Paulson and Debo? Yeah, they definitely was picking on him. Read defense first. Andrew Luck used to try to run over linebackers. And where's Andrew Luck today? Where is he today? I mean, where is he today? Is he still playing, right? Or did his career have to get cut short because of injury? I'm just wondering. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not just, being facetious here with you, Brandon, but I'm just saying, like, that's my whole point. He's a talented guy, like, would be a generational talent. I mean, we know that Andrew Luck has had the Indianapolis Colts at the doorstep of a Super Bowl. But, playing that type of football is the reason why Andrew Luck isn't playing anymore. So, like I say, you just got to be smart with it, man. Facts, but TJ, that's why I used to like Mitchell Trubisky. He was a responsible runner. And anyway, slid that baseball background helped too. Yeah, I mean, look, you got to be able to slide, get yourself down. I'm all for quarterbacks having moxie and grit, but I want my quarterback to be available, right? I mean, that don't mean nothing. Like that Lord shoulder means nothing for a first down if I know that's going to be the last play that you're going to make for me for the next couple of weeks. And then you got to come in and come up with a game plan and hope that your backup quarterback is able to right the ship. Like, nah. Jeremiah says, shouts out to the after show boys and the after show girls. Man, shouts out to all the after show boys and the after show girls.
Shouts out to them after show boys. Shouts out to them after show boys. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys.
Shouts out to all the after show boys and after show girls out there. But let's go ahead and go to the State of the Saints podcast scoreboard here. In the fourth quarter, we got Tampa Bay and Seattle all tied up at 28. The Tennessee Titans are losing to the Arizona Cardinals in the third quarter, 21-6. The Washington Commanders are beating the Los Angeles Chargers 20-10. The Detroit Lions all over the Cincinnati Bengals, 28-3. The 49ers, of course, played on Thursday, 26-23. They beat the Rams in a thriller. Early this morning, over across the pond, the Minnesota Vikings getting it done over the Cleveland Browns by a score of 21-17. Let me go ahead and back up. Let me get the entire scoreboard so we can talk about some of these games here. The ones that I didn't mention. Like I said, the Titans, we mentioned that one. Game tied up in the fourth quarter between Tampa and the Seahawks. The Commanders winning 20-10. Strolling down, the Saints got the victory, of course, over the Giants, 26-14. The Colts all over the Raiders, 40-6. I mean, that was insane, man. You got Geno Smith continuing to struggle, man. 25 of 36, 228 yards and 2 interceptions. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, man, just continues to put up really good numbers. 20 of 29, 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's just a prime example. Is showing you folks that it matters where you go. I mean, the Giants, speaking of which, threw this man away, cast him aside. He goes to the Indianapolis Colts with Shane Steichen and finds success. The Dallas Cowboys beating the brakes off the Jets, 37-22. We know that the Jets like to get points in garbage time. Justin Fields, 32 of 46, 283 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dak Prescott continues to impress, man. You can like the Cowboys or not, but this man has 8 touchdowns in 2 weeks. Actually, 9 total touchdowns in 2 weeks. 18 of 29, 237 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think the absence of CeeDee Lamb is actually helping Dak Prescott, like not being able to have to zero in on one particular receiver, getting the majority of the targets. The Broncos are shocking the Eagles, 21-17. You got the Panthers beating the Miami Dolphins 27-24. And the Houston Texans beating the brakes off the Baltimore Ravens 44-10. CJ Stroud with a bounce back game, 4 touchdowns, 23 of 27, 244 yards and 4 touchdowns. There was a lot of talk about CJ Stroud this week, talking about how he feels, like his body is breaking down at the tender age of 23 years old. But He had 4 touchdowns in today's game. So the Baltimore Ravens continue to struggle, even though Lamar Jackson didn't play today. It's time for Shedeur Sanders to start, TJ. Man, I don't think Dylan Gabriel played terrible today. I watched that game. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, it's time for Shedeur just because, like, the Browns lost. I mean, Dylan Gabriel was 19 to 33, 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, QBR was terrible. But at the end of the day, like, he made some throws, get his team down there, threw a couple of touchdowns. I think it's something that you can actually build on. Now, I'm pretty sure you're probably going to see Shedeur Sanders if things continue to go the way that they are for Cleveland. So I think you'll see him sooner rather than later. TJ, look at what I said above. The Ravens are looking bad. Yeah, the Ravens are looking bad. It looks like, maybe it's time for, a head coaching change. Probably going to be John Harbaugh probably stepping down. I can't see them firing the guy, if that's the case. But even with that, man, I just think they probably just having some issues in a down season. But, man, I believe in that football team. They got too much talent on their team for them not to be able to kind of shake out of the issues that they're dealing with. The Ravens need to find an identity. They got an identity running the football. They just need to hold on to it, Chosen. Let's go Seattle. And Buka is a demon. Yeah, Mecca Buka is a beast, man. The Browns are doing Shedeur dirty, though. TJ, do you think this is the beginning of the end for the John Harbaugh era with the Ravens? I do, but I think that they should give him the respect to have maybe a closed door conversation where he decides to step down instead of like trying to fire the guy. Right. But yeah, I think it's time for a new voice in Baltimore, but I don't think he's a bad coach. I think that maybe it's just time for a change of scenery. Like, I don't think that John Harbaugh is just going to completely retire and go away from the game. I think he'll probably end up going to another team and, end up finding success there. Just time for a new voice. Am I tripping, or when Jess Reed left the game, Saints defense improved like Howden made plays? I don't think that it was just you, man. I think that these young guys are really stepping up. I think that the New Orleans Saints need to trust that they have some very talented young guys. Like Quincy Riley was in the game today. They mostly relied on Isaac Yiadom. I think they looked at him, oh, man, these guys are young. They ain't ready for the moment. And these guys are stepping up and making plays, man. Sometimes guys just need opportunity. Damn, it feels good to celebrate with the Who Dat family on the state of the Saints. I won't ever apologize for a win. Yep, me neither. Saints are Patriots next week, TJ. We'll get into that next week. Especially we're going to take a look at this game tonight. And make sure y'all come over to the State of the NFL podcast channel. Check out the live stream. The Patriots against the Buffalo Bills. We'll be calling that game. Have a good time over there, man. We talk NFL topics as well as, anything that y'all want to talk about in between watching the game. So if you're into NFL football, talking about NFL football and just watching games and having fun, you might as well come on over, man. I mean, if you're watching a football game, might as well kind of just turn down the sound, turn your boy up, and just enjoy it. Like I say, we have a good time. We talk about all type of different things over there. Just be shooting the breeze. We need to save these topics for the state of NFL, bring them conversations over there. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I get into all that. I'm not completely like just negating what the questions or acting like you all didn't ask them. But I just feel like that's probably better suited over there on the State of NFL channel. So make sure that you bring that over as we watch the game and talk about some of those things. Man, I'm rooting for Spencer Rattler, TJ, because he did talented on the field, just like Stone Cold Steve Austin theme music break. Let's see. Howard Foster Monroe didn't watch much of him. He was in the game in spurts, mostly in blocking situations. Which, like I said, man, these guys just got back. I don't think the Saints were going to give them a heavy load. And like I said, you can tell the guys are still kind of going through some things. Like even Taysom, I think that Taysom isn't all the way back. So I just think that it was probably one of them cases where you just had to take a shot or two, not of that drink, but just a shot like when you're talking about somebody hitting you in order for you to kind of wake up and and trust your body. Like when you go through like different injuries, like man, it can affect you psychologically and wonder, are you the same type of player? You know, like, it makes you wonder that. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Much love to you. I didn't take any phone calls because I did a test before the show, and I don't know, man. It was a little bit of an issue. I was having like little feedback issues, and I just want to make sure, like, if I did take phone calls, I want to make sure everybody was heard. But we'll be back on tomorrow when we do our final thoughts episode, and I'll open up the phone lines then. Hopefully, I have the situation corrected so we can be able to do that. Make sure that you'll subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Subscribe also to the State of the NFL channel tonight. Sunday Night Football, Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots in an AFC East showdown. So make sure that you come on back around 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central as we watch that football game and have a good time over there. Also follow me on X at TJAYJones8. The Saints once again get the victory 26-14. Look, I don't think that this is a start of anything, but it is a start of something. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who dat?